I received an email from Helen this week, and she wanted me to elaborate on the concept of an ideal sweat rate is between 1 and 2%. What does that mean, and how do you evaluate it? In the description box below, if you're watching this here on YouTube, I've put in a link to our resource page, and there you can find our sweat rate calculator. It's a very easy to use spreadsheet. All you need is 3 variables. You're going to need your weight before, your weight after, and the amount of fluids that you consume during a workout. So with that being said, if you're using the resource, you want to understand what is your perspiration rate given the duration and the intensity bounced against the temperature. Now, it may sound a little bit complicated at first, but if you're making a commitment to training and possibly even racing, what we don't want to do is have your strength and endurance undermined because of dehydration. And that's exactly what happens when a muscle becomes dehydrated. A muscle has to be able to slide and glide for maximum muscular contraction. It has to have optimized electrolyte levels and hydration within the belly of the muscle. So when we're looking at, okay, you're going to work out, let's say, or race for 30 minutes, you weigh yourself before and after, what did you lose in the form of fluid? That could be through sweat, it could be through other bodily functions. What you've now done is created is what we refer to as a temperature silo. You know the duration, you know the intensity, and you know the air temperature. So the next time you encounter those same scenarios, you know exactly how much to put in to make sure that you stay in the sweet spot of 1 to 2. Now what I mean by 1 to 2 is you should always lose fluids when you work out. If you're ever gaining weight during a workout or a race, you've overhydrated, plain and simple. Stop and think about it. If you take your automobile and you crank it up and you let it idle for an hour, you have to respect the idea that you're going to have less fuel in the gas tank. Even though it was only idling, you still burnt fuel. Well, when you're looking at the human body, it's the same way. When your heart rate is elevated, you're going to lose water through breathing, you're going to lose water through the sweating process, you're going to be burning more calories, all predicated off of what the intensity level is. When we look at the rule of 1 to 2%, the idea here is you don't want to lose any more than 2%, you're now dehydrated. We don't want to lose any less than 1%, we're overhydrated. See why we refer to that as the sweet spot of 1 to 2? If you're in that 1 to 2% range, you've now narrowed down your sweat rate, which, if we look at it more positively, is going to increase your strength and your endurance. Because just like your automobile, it's going to be a sum total of all of its parts working for you to be able to turn the ignition and drive down the road. Whether that be fuel, whether that be radiator, whether that be oil, the list goes on and on. You're exactly the same way. So understanding what your sweat rate understanding what your sweat rate is becomes very important, especially as you've been putting in all this work to get fitter, and then all of a sudden not recognizing that you could be undermining your strength and your endurance simply by being dehydrated. Using our sweat rate calculator will eliminate that problem for you right off the bat. This is a great question from Helen. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We're putting out a new one almost every day on YouTube. If you happen to have a question, please do me a favor. Send it to me and my team. We'd be happy to disseminate the information and get it into a video for you. Send it to contact@coachrobb.com. That'll come to me directly. We'll do some research. We'll get an answer for you and we'll put it out here on video. Again, thank you for watching and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.